I actually felt like I had a lot of energy. I felt very energized. I was doing a lot of activities, a lot of walking, strength training. I had a very active life, and I never really felt like I didn't have the energy to do any of those things. But what I came to learn was that that was adrenaline and not necessarily true energy. Welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast with me, Rebecca Wilson. If you believe that fertile energy, creative power, and embodied, resourced, nourished women will change the world, then you are in the right place. This is a space to support you to arrive deeper into relationship with yourself and your body, to explore the multifaceted experience of womanhood. It is my mission to guide women back into connection with their natural essence, to become the living embodiment of their true nature. Are you ready to join a community of women who are taking responsibility for our lives, our energy, women who are centered and rooted in ourselves, connected to our womb space, and deeply nourished on a cellular level? If so, let's begin into this week's episode. Welcome to the community, my love. Hello, my love. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're diving deep on a journey of really understanding adrenal burnout in women, how it manifests, how HTMA and mineral balancing can support. Well, adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue is a silent struggle that many women face. And what I've come to learn is very often without even realizing it. Many women arrive into my world sharing the constant feeling of exhaustion, an inability to cope with stress, this sense of feeling drained and depleted constantly. And often this can be a sign that your or their adrenal glands are overworked, undernourished, and that the body is really crying out for some help and support. I resonate with this journey so much when women do arrive into my space showing these signs and symptoms. And it's been a personal journey of mine. I was there too, feeling that sense of drained, exhausted, not fully resourced from any kind of rest or sleep that I had. It is a frustrating experience to go through. Maybe you can resonate with it too. Maybe you've landed into this podcast because you are experiencing these signs and symptoms too. I really do believe that it is a modern world issue, and with the modern life, the busyness, the fullness of life, and the times that we've more recently moved through as a collective, now more than ever, I'm really hearing this arrive into conversation, not only with my clients, but just with people in my community and those who I connect with and share with. So let's go on a little bit of a journey to understand what adrenal fatigue or burnout or exhaustion is. And then I'm going to share with you the mineral imbalances that do play a role in the manifestation of this, and the mineral imbalances we can support to guide the body out of this state of fatigue. So adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue or exhaustion, as it can be labeled or named as many different things, happens when the adrenal glands, which produce hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, are overtaxed. Now, this often manifests as a result of chronic stress, poor nutrition, a busy lifestyle, poor sleep, or sleep patterns. So when the adrenal glands are constantly in this state of overdrive, it can lead to cascade of hormonal imbalances such as cortisol and adrenaline, and then mineral deficiencies, and then we arrive into energy depletion. So the signs of adrenal burnout are feeling persistently tired, no matter how much sleep you get. You could be craving salty food. You're finding it hard to get up in the morning, feeling a morning grog. You might feel wired, anxious, unable to focus. You may have histamine or allergic reactions to certain foods or environments. And these are just a few indicators that we are in a state of energetic depletion or that the adrenals might be struggling in some way. Some other things that can manifest, some other signs to just become aware of or notice in yourself, or if you resonate with any of these, it could be that you are experiencing some exhaustion in your adrenals. So that feeling of fatigue and low energy, tiredness, lack of vitality, muscle cramps and spasms, so unexplained muscle discomfort. Often people will describe this as restless legs. You could have brittle hair and nails, so fragile breaking hair and nails that lack their usual strength. You could have emotional fluctuations, anxiety, mood swings, or swing into states of depression. You could be experiencing digestive issues, constipation, diarrhea, or malabsorption of nutrients from your food. Skin problems is a big one that manifests: dryness, eczema, psoriasis, acne. This all indicates that there is some kind of mineral depletion or deficiency happening in the body. Hormonal imbalances such as irregular cycles, PMS, or other womb-related health issues such as endometriosis, cysts, fibroids, lack of ovulation, missing periods, as the body needs energy to be able to live out that full cycle and all of the different fluctuations that happen from menstruation to ovulation, back to menstruation again. And if we are in that state of fatigue on that kind of cellular level and our adrenals are tired, then the body, or they're wired, or they're in a state of survival, the body's going to prioritize surviving over thriving. So on my own journey, a really big turning point happened when I got my first hair tissue mineral analysis, also known as the HTMA, results back. So it isn't a test that just looks at the surface or takes, a screenshot of a moment in time like a blood test. It does read much deeper, and it reveals the mineral imbalances that, are often fueling our fatigue or other signs and symptoms in our body. It is a test that is able to read over a period of 3 months because of the way that it stores in the hair, and it gives us a bigger overarching understanding of what is happening in the body. So when I got my first HTMA back, I was very shocked, and also not shocked, one of those strange moments to see that, yes, my adrenal axis, the sodium and potassium ratio were incredibly low. I was very depleted and was probably manifesting with, a good handful of the signs and symptoms that would pertain or speak into that I was having some kind of experience of adrenal burnout, fatigue, or exhaustion. So I began the journey of remineralizing. And often we can think about that as just a journey of taking supplements, but really balancing our minerals is a much more multifaceted journey than that. And what we're wanting to do is enhance the cells to begin to be able to produce energy again, ATP. And that can support the nervous system and the hormonal systems in our body, which allow us to feel more vibrant, alive, resourced, and regulated. After integrating the steps within the remineralization and the RCP protocol over a period of time, I began to see such a shift in my body and my energy. And this is a journey that many of the women that I support go on to. Often we get this feeling of like, oh, this is what it's like to have some energy, but real grounded energy. And I always explain this to my clients in sessions, particularly because for myself and my own personal journey, when I had my first hair test completed, I actually felt like I had a lot of energy. I felt very, energized. I was doing a lot of activities, a lot of walking, strength training. I had a very active life, and I never really felt like I didn't have the energy to do any of those things. But what I came to learn was that that was adrenaline and not necessarily true energy. And that true energy it moves much more in a wave. And, we are meant to get tired of an evening because that's the time that we wind down and go to bed. And we are meant to be more sleepy in winter because we are cyclical beings and, it's a time of hibernation. But when we're in that either, tired, wired, adrenal state, we're very much either in that collapse, shut down, gone to sleep mode, or we can be in that really high, jittery, almost anxious, fight, flight, survival state in the body. And I came to recognize that I was for quite some time living in that state, believing that I had a lot of energy and therefore doing lots of different activities, but that was then leading to more exhaustion. I was taxing my system even further. So when women do take that journey, sometimes they can get a little bit of a dip as they come out of that adrenaline state. And then they arrive back into what most, if not all, describe as a more resourced and regulated state of energy in the body. So within the HTMA, we can address adrenal patterns and adrenal fatigue, burnout, whatever we want to call it. And that is one of the earlier steps that we support, because it's really the thing that needs to be supported first in order for the rest of the steps and the remineralization process to happen effectively. So the HTMA looks at, a detailed level of minerals throughout the body. And as it does, it analyzes and uncovers imbalances that could be contributing towards the exhaustion and the tiredness. Within the remineralization HTMA, or the root cause protocol, we really focus and address the underlying imbalances in the body so that we can restore mineral balance, which is correcting deficiencies and excesses in the body. Minerals are relational. They work synergistically and they work together. They are usually in some form of marriage and there's a union energy that happens. So sometimes when we are depleted in one, its counterpart is much higher, or vice versa, or maybe they're both high or low. And that allows us to just understand that we're not just sorting out one particular thing. When we move something or we rebalance some particular mineral, we're also looking at the other counterparts too. And that's what deficiencies and excesses go hand in hand. The journey of remineralization will support you to improve energy production. So as we replenish those essential minerals that are lost, we're able to support the body to begin to make cellular energy again. You can support hormonal balance by remineralization, balancing key hormones that regulate stress and energy. As I spoke into before, our sex hormones are very much linked into our adrenal glands and our thyroid too. And if we are in a state of tiredness, exhaustion, overwhelm, depletion, or we are stuck in that fight flight response and we're in survival, the body may not prioritize being hormonally balanced or be able to, because it's fighting off threat and danger, or perceived threat and danger. When we begin to restore minerals, we can enhance our nervous system function. Optimizing particularly the sodium and potassium ratio really supports for better nerve health in our body and nervous system regulation. And that sodium potassium ratio on the HTMA is the important one for us to look at when we're looking at fatigue and nervous system regulation. It is a crucial marker which reflects in the balance and the relational aspect of these two minerals. An imbalanced sodium and potassium ratio can impact the nervous system, as a low sodium to potassium ratio, often linked with adrenal fatigue. So low sodium levels can impair nerve function, which can lead to symptoms like fatigue, depression, and low blood pressure. Whereas high sodium potassium ratio can indicate stress, inflammation, or hyperactive adrenal glands, causing issues like hypertension, anxiety, and sleep disturbances. And this is why it is so beneficial to have a HTMA test done, as it gives us a really clear indication of your personal markers, exactly where your body is or has been over, the past few months or so, Although I believe that we can definitely see more longer standing patterns of stress on a HTMA, particularly if the markers are very high or very low. We would be looking at whether the individual is in an acute state of stress or a chronic long-term state of stress. From there, we're better able to understand what the needs of the individual body are and how best to approach the journey of remineralization, time period that's needed, doses that are needed. There's such an interesting world out there at the moment of supplement advice. But often improper supplementational remedies and taking supplements that we don't need or necessarily need, but we've just seen somebody else take and think we should. If our body doesn't need them, it won't be able to metabolize them, utilize them properly. And it can also be creating more stress on the system. You know, improper supplementation is one of the biggest stresses that happen. And it happens for a lot of the clients that arrive to me. They arrive with a big, long list of supplements. And I ask, well, why are you taking this? Oh, I just felt like it, or I thought I did, or saw somebody say it was really good for them. And without really knowing what's good for us, how do we know whether that is helping or hindering our body? And this is why the personalized approach with the HTMA is really, really supportive to truly know what your body needs and what is the best plan of action for you. And this is the journey that we take in the Embodied Woman Group Mentorship. It is a journey for women that are ready to break free from those grips of adrenal burnout, say goodbye to exhaustion, and embrace a life full of energy, ease, and balance in their body and their nervous system. Throughout the program, we will have a HTMA report. We'll work through the RCP, which is the root cause protocol, remineralization. We'll also understand and learn practices to support nervous system regulation, calming body-mind, enhancing body-mind connection, somatic practices, embodiment, meditation, tapping, a full wealth of resources that support the body to find calm and ease, particularly if it has traversed through stressful periods or seasons of life. So if you're feeling the call, my love, and you want to know that really personalized viewpoint of what is happening in your body and be guided in a multifaceted way to support the multifaceted you, I welcome you to join us on a journey. If you scroll on down in the show notes of this episode, you will find the link to the Embodied Woman. There'll also be a link to book a connection call with me. Should you feel the call, but you would like to discuss anything further, I am here to support you and guide you. We open doors on the 5th of September and we close doors just a week later. And that will be the final closing and no entry will be taken after that. But the doors to join us are open now. Early intake is advised so that we can get your HTMA sent off and get the results back and get started with that as soon as the program begins. All right, my love. Take some deep breaths if you've acknowledged or recognized yourself or these signs and symptoms in yourself and your body. And you're maybe having a realization that you may be a little bit burnt out or undernourished or fatigued or depleted. Most of us are. Life is a challenging thing, and this journey can really support you through that and allow you to cultivate some greater resource in your body. If it's speaking to you, the link's in the show notes. But for now, I'm sending love. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this episode, please share it far and wide with your sisterhood and community. You can dive deep into all of my offerings via rebecca-wilson.com. Links to all offerings are below in the show notes of this episode. If you would love to support the podcast, please like, subscribe, download, and share the episodes so my work and this message can reach more women around the world. Remember, my love, you are here to live a life fully, deeply inhabiting your body and your divine nature. I am here to show you how. Hey love, I'm just dropping in to share that the doors are open for the waitlist for the next round of Embodied Woman Group Mentorship. This is a journey like no other, a deep dive into embodiment, somatic awareness, self-honoring and healing practices, the journey of remineralization, awakening your feminine energy and restoring the resources within your heart, body, wombs, cells, and overall vitality. This is my signature program, which launches twice a year. There are limited spaces for the intake. If you're feeling the call, head on down to the show notes in this episode, click the link and join the waitlist where you will receive more information soon. Hope you enjoyed the episode of this podcast. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful, vital, and nourishing day.